Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county of Shelby, it's in the state of Tennessee. And today's date is early Monday morning, December 19th, 2016 time, 2:50 a.m. And the radio music you hear in the background is radio.com. And what's that, hits 103.9, that's the Ghana station, African Nation of Ghana. And like I said, you can go to this radio station, and you can pick up radio stations in practically every African nation. And I'm gonna turn the volume down. And I'll continue to keep myself employed right here in the Memphis tri-state area. I'll continue to further my education more because I'm pursuing my associate degree, studying business administration, construction, marketing, and turn the volume down. On today's video, we're going to continue talking about African traditional religion. African traditional religion being taught at institutions of higher learning, meaning colleges and universities. In sub-Saharan Africa, you can earn a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, studying African traditional religion. And where's sub-Saharan Africa? Let's look at a map. Now, here is a map. This is a language distribution map. And it shows you this portion of the continent of Africa. And it shows you the people that live on the continent of Africa. It shows you the language that they speak and where on the continent of Africa they live. And also shows you sub-Saharan Africa. And blue color represents the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color represents the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color represents the Niger-Congo A. And the light orange color represents the Niger-Congo B. The Bantu. Is the other part of the map. Now on the side it shows you what the colors represent. The blue color represents the Afro-Asiatic. The yellow color represents the Nilo-Saharan. The dark orange color represents the Niger-Congo A. The light orange color represents the Niger-Congo B, the Bantu. The green color represents two groups of people. The Kwai people, they are pastoralists. The San people are the hunter-gatherers. Now over there on the island of Madagascar, that purple lavender color, the Austronesians. Austronesians are the people that live in Indonesia. And the people that live in Indonesia, they migrated, they settled and colonized the island of Madagascar. They are not the original inhabitants of the island of Madagascar. Now, this map is a language Niger-Congo. This map is a Niger-Congo language distribution map. Now, when I printed this map out of printer, at the very bottom, a little portion got cut out. It shows you the Niger-Congo language is the primary branch of Volta Congo. Your South Volta, Bantu, Bantu beside Bantu, other East Benue Congo and West Benue Congo, and your Kwai, your North Volta, Kru, Sanufo, Gur, Volta language. or your Adamawa, your Bungian languages. Your other primary branches, your Kordofan, your Mandi, your Atlantic, and your Dogon. This is another Niger-Congo language distribution map. Your Atlantic branch, Wolof, Fule, the Mandi, Bambare, Manika, Diule, your Kru, your Gur, more languages, Kwe, Bali, Akan, Iwa, your Dogon, your Ajoa, the Adamawa, your Bungian language, Jabaye, Banda, and Zandi, your Kordofanians, your non-Bantoid, Yaruba, and Igbo, your Bantoid, Fang, Tiki, Lingale, Mongo, and Kundu, Congo, Choki, Lube, Luganda, Rwanda, Rundi, Sukume, Kikuyu, your Bantu, Swahili, Bakawe, Inyanje, Bembe, Shone, Tisange, Northern Soto, Zulu, Southern Soto, Kosa, Tiswane, Ndange, and Bundu, and there are many other Niger-Congo speaking groups of people that are not listed here on this map. Now, this is an Afro-Asiatic language distribution map. Now, the Afro-Asiatic language family is considered to include the following branches: your Berber, your Chadic, your Cushitic, Egyptian, Omatic, and Semitic. The Berber, the Berber, Berber, excuse me, Berber constitutes a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. And there are 6 major varieties of Berber: the Shilhit, Kabyle, Atlas Tamizite, Riffian, Shawi, and Tuareg. That's Berber. And Chadic. Chadic is a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. Now you know you find Chadic Nigeria, southern Niger, southern Chad, Central African Republic, northern Cameroon, and all right. Your West Chadic has 2 branches: A, the Hase, Run, Bowling, and English language; B, the Badi, Waja, and Zar languages. Now your central channel, B. Umadare, 3 branches. A. The Bure, Kanwe, and Bete. B. The Badume, Musku, and C. Gadar. Your east channel has 2 branches. A. The Tumac, Nansiri, Kire, and B. The Dangaliad, Makulu, Socorro, and Mason. That's the chatting. Kushti. Kushti language, Afro-Asiatic language family, spoken primarily in the Horn of Africa, Somalia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt, African Great Lakes, Tanzania, Kenya. Kushti languages include the following branches: the Baya, North Kushti, Aga languages, Central Kushti, Highland East Kushti, Sadamic, Lowland East Kushti, Dalay languages, and South Kushti. And that's the Kushti. Your Egyptian. Egyptian is an Afro-Asiatic language. Now, the Egyptian language is grouped into 6 major chronological divisions: Archaic Egyptian language, Old Egyptian language, Middle Egyptian language, Late Egyptian language, Demotic, and Coptic. That's the Egyptian language. The Omotic. The Omotic languages are a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family, southwestern Ethiopia. It's the North and South Omotic branches, Nomadic and Somatic, are universally recognized. So that's the North and South Omotic. That's the Omotic branch of the Afro-Asiatic. The Semitic. The Semitic languages are a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family, originating in the Middle East, and is spoken across Western Asia, Anatolia, North Africa, Horn of Africa, expatriate communities in North Africa, Europe, South America, Australia, the Caucasus, Central Asia. Now, the most widely spoken Semitic languages are Arabic, Amharic, Tigrinya, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Maltese. Arabic is a Central Semitic language spoken primarily in the northwestern Arabia. Now, Arabic is a Central Semitic language closely related to Northwest Semitic languages. Arabic usually designates one of 3 main variants: Classical Arabic, Modern Standard Arabic, and Colloquial Dialectical Arabic. Amharic is a Semitic language spoken in Ethiopia. It is the second most spoken Semitic language in the world after Arabic. It's the official working language of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. And also, as we know about the Rastafari movement and the etymology of the word Rastafari, comes from Amharic, and Rastafari was the pre-regnal title of Haile Selassie I, composed of the Amharic words Ras, meaning head, and Ethiopian title equivalent to do, and also Haile Selassie's pre-regnal name Tafari. Now the Rastafarians learned Amharic as a second language that they considered to be a sacred language. After Haile Selassie's 1966 visit to Jamaica, they started study circles in Amharic were organized in Jamaica as part of the ongoing exploration of Pan-African identity and culture. So that's Amharic. Tigrinya. Tigrinya is an Afro-Asiatic language of the Semitic branch. It is mainly spoken in Eritrea and northern Ethiopia, in the Horn of Africa. So that's Tigrinya. Hebrew. Now, Hebrew is a language native to Israel, spoken by over 9 million people worldwide. Now, Hebrew belongs to the West Semitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. Now, the Hebrew language is the only living Canaanite language left. Hebrew belongs to the Canaanite group of languages. And the Canaanite languages are a branch of the Northwest Semitic family of languages. Now, the Canaanite languages are one of two subgroups of the Northwest Semitic language, the other being the Aramaic language. They were spoken by the ancient peoples of Canaan, the Canaanites, and broadly defined to include the Israelites, the Phoenicians, Amorites, Ammonites, Moabites, and Edomites. Now, the Canaanite languages or dialects can be split into the following. North Canaan, Phoenician, and Punic. South Canaan, Hebrew, Ammonite, Moabite, Edomite. Then you have other, Ugaritic, and Amorite. So that's Hebrew. Aramaic is a family language of dialects belonging to the Semitic subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic family. And is part of the Northwest Semitic group, which also includes the Canaanite languages such as Hebrew and Phoenician. Now, Aramaic is broken down into three broad areas: Old Aramaic, Middle Aramaic, and Modern Aramaic. Now, Maltese. Maltese is the national language of Malta and a co-official language of the country alongside English, and serving also as an official language of the European Union. The only Semitic language so distinguished, Maltese is descended from Sakulo Arabic, the variety of Arabic that developed in Sicily and was later introduced to Malta. So that's Maltese. So that's all the Semitic. That's all. Excuse me. That's all the Semitic. I mean, excuse me. That's all the Afro-Asiatic language family. Now, this is a map that shows Nilo-Saharan languages. This is a Nilo-Saharan language distribution map. Now, the Nilo-Saharan are a proposed family of African languages spoken by some 50 to 60 million Nilotic peoples and mainly in the parts of Chari and Nile rivers, including historic Nubia, excuse me, in northern half of Africa, from Algeria to Benin, and west from Libya to the Democratic Republic of Congo, and from Egypt to Tanzania. And now some of the major groups, languages, some of the major languages within the Nilo-Saharan language, Luo, the Kanuri, and also Kanimbu is included. Sanghe, mostly Zame, Tiso, related to the Maasai, Nubian, Lubare, and also include Aringe, Nanda, Mawite languages, the Lango, that's a Luo language, Dinka, Acholi, that's another Luo language, Nua, Maasai, Ngambe, the Fur, the Tugu. And Tugu has two main variants, Daze and Tide. So that's the Nilo-Saharans. So we know that there are many people that are referred to as African. Uh, uh, before we get to reading on the three books, and we get us to want to let everybody know that the reason why I didn't do my video yesterday, it was because of the rain. It was raining, the weather had an effect on the internet connection. And so, I mean, around 10:30, I mean, it was raining pretty bad. You know, it was coming down and interfered with the internet connection because I was at the computer. And but then, you know, around about 10:30, 11 o'clock, in between there, it just the internet connection just went out, and even the television was affected. See, a lot of times the weather. This ain't the first time. The weather does, you know, when you have like rain and you know, storms, thunderstorms, your internet connection possibly can be interfered with. And so that's what happened yesterday. And then also, again, uh, before I went to sleep, took me a little nap. I drank a little NyQuil. You know, before anybody asks any question, is there a problem? No, there is not a problem. Uh, Sometimes out of habit, you know, sometimes you reach at the NyQuil bottle, and now recently they had DayQuil, so I let him inform everybody that I took some DayQuil instead of NyQuil. So, uh, you know, yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. And one more thing, while I'm in a little humorous mood, just a little minute. I don't know if everybody saw on this past Friday on I think that was Dayline on Friday night. I think it was one of the news shows that come on like NBC, ABC, CBS, you know, the television networks. I think it was Dateline. If I'm not mistaken, if I can remember, it was Dateline. But what it was a story. Being the Christmas holiday, and it was about a Santa Claus. It was about this white guy, European guy. He was working over there in the mall as a Santa Claus, and he went over there. He left the mall and went across the street to a local bar and started drinking. And so he was on television. I don't think he realized he was on television because he went to the bar and started drinking. And he didn't stop drinking. And even some little children that came in there and started talking to him. And he was, by that time, he had about 10 drinks. And he was slurring his speech. He couldn't talk. And so at the end almost at the end, he got ready to leave. And Santa Claus had fell down on the floor. He couldn't even walk. He got so drunk. He'd been drinking so much alcohol that when he got ready to leave, he couldn't even walk. He fell down all over the bar and not, fell over the bar stools. So I don't know if you've seen it, but you know, let me see. Oh yeah, and oh yeah, also I wanted to make sure this week I wanted to update everybody. You remember I had informed everybody about I got my DNA. You know, I did my DNA through African DNA, Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr. And you know, the company that he has is let me scroll down. Family Tree DNA. Excuse me. And if I'm not, yeah, I remember. That's not. But anyway, okay, that's it. Okay. Now I was trying to find a website where I can log in. Okay. Yeah. I had to remember, trying to remember all these passwords. Um, but just don't, I can't, just do all that in one day. But I was just want to inform everybody that I did get some results back, and because I did both sides of my family. I did the paternal side and the maternal side, and and then recently, recently, I think it was like about 2 weeks ago, I did the family finder. Also, I had, I didn't do that originally. When I originally got my DNA done, I only did the paternal side and the mother's and the maternal side. But recently, matter of fact, it was December the 9th, about a week ago. I did the family finder, so I'm waiting on the results of that to come back. And from what I understand, they said about at the most about 5 or 6 weeks. But let me see. Let me see where is it. Oh, now I'm not no doctor, so I can't read. I don't understand. I don't know all this. Like your haplotree and uh, your haplogroup and all that. But on one side, well, let me see here. It's just a whole lot of, it's so much information that but basically on my paternal side, let me see, according to the DNA results, I'm part of that haplogroup G. It's Western Eurasian and G in haplogroup G, travel from the West Asian to both Europe and South Asia. And European lineages spread along the Mediterranean, eventually ending across Europe. And many of the South Asian G group lineages journeyed to India. And they are present at low frequency. So, and then, it's like I said, it's a lot of information that's on the paternal side. Then on the maternal side, okay, migration. There's another haplogroup on the maternal side, coming out of Africa. The third split in Africa separated L3 from his parent L2. Members of L2 remained in Africa, while L3 became the parent of some African, all non-African lineage. Then L3 has spread throughout Africa. One recent major migration is that of the Bantu people. They have spread agriculture and their genetic lineage from Central Africa to the rest of Africa. So that's on my paternal side. Like I say, it's a lot of information, but I was just trying to give everybody a little update that I did, do my DNA on my paternal side and my maternal side, and then I did get some results back. And I'm still now, I'm trying to get the family, what they call it, the family finder, which I just recently done on here in December. And they told me it'd be about 5 or 6 weeks when I get some results on the family finder. And let me log out here. What time is it? Okay. But I just wanted to update everybody because I did inform everybody, so I wanted to let everybody know that I did get some results back. Now, okay, let me see here. Now, let me put this back. Let me put time. Now, yeah, right on time. We're gonna continue to emphasize how important it is to address the serious issue of gangs, organized crime, and we know that the United States government has been addressing this issue. And you know, some people, you know, they may try to criticize the comprehensive anti-gang initiative. And we know that history, you know, like American history, world history, the way it's been taught, and also the way it's been documented, has been a lot of information been suppressed, and not just like accidentally, but intentionally, to keep people from being informed. And when people are not informed, those who want to keep people from being informed, they want to keep people under control. That's one method of that organized crime and the gang uses to control individuals with part of who are members of organized crime and gang, as well as those who are not. They attempt to control people through uh, denying people access to information. And we know that in history, that's what we've been going over. History, world history, basically, in the broad term, in this broad sense, history. And we're addressing the issue of gangs, or including organized crime. And we know that the United States government has not just been sitting idly by, allowing organized crime and gangs to to exist without any government intervention, and not just the United States government, but governments around the world, and to address the issue of organized crime and gang. And there are many instances in history where, such as the Revolutionary War here in the United States, or the Revolutionary War, when this country formed the Union, 13 colonies became the United States of America. And when the 13 colonies became the United States of America, they drew up, they drafted a constitution, and drafted the Declaration of Independence and some more documents. And basically, this country was formed. But that was the English, the United Kingdom, British. They sent the military over and fought the Revolutionary War. And based on history, we know that the United States eventually won the war. But we know that before the Revolutionary War, based on historical records and things of nature, that the gang came over, and that the gang, came to America, and that the gang in all 13 colonies, existed. They lived, and the activities that the gang had, did in England, they hadn't started doing the things that they were doing in England, in America. It was like they were laying dormant. When they get enough of them over here, then they start doing all the things that they do, all the criminal acts that they commit. And the United States government has not sat idly by and allowed the gang and organized crime to exist without any government intervention. Excuse me. And we know that slavery was a serious issue. And see, this is where the organized crime and the gang This is how you know that the United States government intervened. When you see that the northern states, at first, slavery was all throughout 13 colonies. But we know that the gang and organized crime in the north, they basically outlawed slavery in the northern states. And in the southern states, slavery was allowed. It was legal. And see, what we have to always point out about gang organized crime is the racism. Let's don't be confused with slavery and racism, because the gang organized crime are racist. They'll spread their junk, wherever they can spread it. And when people become influenced by the gang organized crime, whatever their junk is, the literature, their doctrine, they're racist. It's not just the European. It can be African Americans. It can be people over in Vietnam. It can be people in China. It can be people in India. It can be people in Mexico. Wherever on this planet they can spread their junk, their gang or organized crime junk. They're racist. They don't like other groups. They want to be separated. See, this is what they want to be segregated. They want to be apart. They use the skin color as a way to identify the gang, the organized crime. They're racist. See, this is an example. When you're saying here in the United States of America, Black Lives Matter, and then they try to start at All Lives Matter. See, you see, when you're seeing the All Lives Matter people, see, this was a slick thing that they tried to do. They tried to accuse the All Lives, the Black Lives, that All Lives Matter tried to accuse Black Lives Matter. You understand? Being prejudiced. You understand? But the whole time, what they was really trying to do the same thing. Because then what happened? It was a whole lot of white people started talking about all lives matter. It was just them. Then later on, after they started talking about some all lives matter, then there was some African Americans started talking about some all lives matter. See? See, it can be some Mexicans walking around, see all this gang stuff. But see, the Mexicans, they don't like the white people. They hate the white people. Then this is what the Mexicans do. They hate the blacks. See? But then he had to teach them then what they call themselves, they try to dress up the gang. They try to dress up the gang. They try to dress up organized crime. We don't do that. We're not prejudiced. We're not racist. We don't hate other groups. You try to dress up the crime. You try to dress up the gang. You try to dress up organized crime. That's what you try to do. But you can't dress it up because you do stand. See what you try to do. You try to do things in public, but in private, you're still doing the same thing. That's what the sorority and the fraternity do. They'll try to tell you in public, oh, we're not doing no hazing. We don't do that no more. We don't do no hazing. That's against the law. They'll tell you too. Oh, that's against the law. We don't do that. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You do it in private. But see, we know that the gang is racist. We know they're racist. See, so when we talk about the Civil War, when we talk about America, see, it was something that it were things that were being done by people in the North when they addressed the issue of the African Americans. See, the people who were slaves was African Americans, but see, there were Africans living in the North. But when you see the blacks living in the North, the condition that the people were living in, see, it wasn't no slavery, but the condition of the people. It was still unequal. It was still unequal in the North, but you wasn't no slave. You wasn't no slave. And then down south, it was just brutal slavery. But see, that's the game. And then you was teaching the game to the Africans in the North and the South. See, this is what you was doing. You was teaching, see, and down south, they were teaching the game to the African slaves. In the North, they were teaching the game to the Africans in the North. Just like, and then the Underground Railroad, when the slaves was escaping from slavery. But see, what you had to remember is this, that the slaves were being taught gang and organized crime. Then they sent them up north to Canada. See, what's the name? Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, the Underground Railroad, all them whites. Before you even went anywhere out the north, you had, it was Europeans helping you. What they call the Underground Railroad. But see, the gang, the organized crime, see, that's what they was doing. By the time you got to Canada, all that gang information, by the time the Africans got to Canada, there was a gang already up there. The Europeans, then they brought you up there. Then they brought the Africans to Canada. See, the gang is racist. It's racist. That's what the gang is, racist. They prejudiced, hateful, all of them. When you see the African Americans walking around, they're prejudiced, they're racist. They hate the whites, and the whites hate them. That's what the gang teaches, to be a racist. They hate the Mexicans. Mexicans hate the blacks, and the blacks hate the Mexicans or the Africans. And the Africans and the Mexicans hate the whites, and the whites, and the European Americans, they hate the Mexicans, and they hate the Africans. It's the gang and organized crime. So the United States government has not been sitting idly by, allowing this, because Civil War was fought to free the slaves, and the Northern Emancipation Proclamation, and some amendments, were drafted and became law. And not just the Civil War, but then after the Civil War, see, there was some things being done to try to address the issue, like the amendments that got put into the Constitution. The 14th Amendment will guarantee everybody equal protection of the law, which is a very significant bill. When you guarantee everybody equal protection of the law, that's a serious. See, the gang don't like that, and who else don't like it? Organized crime don't like that. They don't like it. They don't like nobody having equal protection, because they can't make you do things for them. And see, there's another thing they did, the Reconstruction. After the Civil War, they reconstructed the South. After the Civil War, they didn't leave the South all destroyed. Because what would have happened is this: the organized crime would have had influence, because they had destroyed everything. So we would have had the same problem, but then it would have got worse. Now you got all these Africans walking around who not slaves no more, and then they'll start doing things to the Europeans. So we had to have a reconstruction, and then the Europeans, they'll do things to each other and to the Africans. But the thing about it, they didn't want nobody to be the so-called leader. Then whenever you need something, food, clothing, and shelter, instead of you depending on the government, you depending on some individual, and that individual is claiming to be able to help you. That's what that organized crime, that gang do. They lie. See, that's the lie. And we know during World War One, see, these are things. This, history is there, but the way it was taught is a serious issue. Because I know many people, including myself, the way American history, world history, been taught, there was no mention of organized crime, and there was no mention of gang. There was no mention of gang, but it's there. It's there. Some history is right there in front of you. They just didn't tell you it was organized crime or gang. Just like slavery. Slavery is nothing but organized crime and the gang. But see, the thing about gang and organized crime, see, the gang, organized crime will make you a slave. See, that's the thing about it. See, the organized crime, they control it. They the controllers. And see, you're a soldier. But what they'll do, they'll make you a slave. They'll make the gang slave. The reason why they make you do the stuff you do. Like the sorority and fraternity. Because they treat you just like they treat anybody else. But see, you don't know anything. Just like we were talking about argument and argue. See, when you say that out there on the street, they don't know, nobody knows. Well, what you talking about? Argument? Argue? You don't know. But see, that when the sorority and fraternity come out on the street and start running their mouth. See, you don't hear them running their mouth about the anti-gang strategies. You don't hear them running their mouth. You don't hear them running their mouth about comprehensive anti-gang initiative. See, that's how you know. I guarantee you won't hear nobody nowhere in America talking about the sorority and fraternity going to inform you about the comprehensive anti-gang initiative. You don't hear that. But when I start talking about an argument and argue, they want to come out on the street, start running off at the mouth. So like we're saying, history, world history, American history, we know it include organized crime and include gang. When we talk about World War I, for example, the draft. When you talk about organized crime before the war and even during the war, see, this is what organized crime do. They'll start a war because they figure they can make some money off the war. All that military ammunition and all that equipment, all the personnel, the pay that the people who are fighting. See, organized crime, they make money out the graves. People have to get buried. They make money anywhere of anything. And that's the important thing that we have to emphasize. See, organized crime and gang. Just like World War I, the draft. When you take them people out, when those European Americans were taken off the street, they were drafted into the military. They wasn't on the street no more. They was in the military. There was no way they couldn't go out on the street and take orders from organized crime and the gang. They was in the military. Went to boot camp. A lot of them got killed. They ain't even make it out of boot camp. A lot of people didn't make it out of boot camp. They got killed. They were gang. They got killed. And then the rest of them, they couldn't kill everybody in boot camp. It'd be too obvious. You take a machine gun and just kill everybody. So what they did, what the United States government did being in a war, see, that's another thing about the war. How it all got started and how the United States government didn't even get involved in the war. We had to get drugged into the war. But see, it was a war that was being fought about the gang and organized crime. That's how it got started. That's how it got started. See, it was a lot of civilians got killed in World War I. A whole lot of gangs got killed in World War I. Not just military, but civilians. They got killed. And when the United States government got brought into the war, see, when you take a lot of people out the street, you left all these women behind. Excuse me. Excuse me. And, you know, a lot of those men got killed. They got killed in boot camp, but not just in boot, they got killed in war. And like I told you, the ones that didn't get killed, a lot of them, they got wounded. They got disabled. They were disabled. They got wounded. Some got wounded mentally. They couldn't deal with the war. So they were messed up for the rest of their life. They couldn't handle war. Then when World War II came, see, this is what you have to remember. When World War I ended, all those that didn't get killed, they came back to America. They came back and were looking for a job. They ended up getting a lot of women pregnant. They had to find work. See, this is what organized crime did. When they seen all these men coming back, they tried to find some kind of way to influence them to listen to organized crime. But the United States government, excuse me, the United States government, they try to provide jobs, create jobs in the economy. And things is next. You see, World War II was finna start. World War II was finna start. And we know how World War II got started in Europe. Germany attacked Poland. And some more countries. They took over Austria and Switzerland. Then they attacked the United Kingdom. Then they attacked Russia. But didn't attack the United States because Italy, excuse me, Italy got involved on the German side and the Japanese. And so that's the reason why we continue to emphasize in history, gang, organized crime. Because when you read history, history is there. But they just didn't include organized crime and gang in the history. Korean War, the United Nations, the Vietnam War. So we know the United States government, Organized Crime Control Act, the RICO Act, Racketeering Influence, Corrupt Organizations Act. We know how important it is to understand the history of organized crime and the gang, and we continue to study the history of street gangs in America, as well as on Wikipedia gangs in the United States, because in the references, the National Gang Center is referred to. So we know that the information that's on Wikipedia gangs in America and gangs in the United States is the same as the history of street gangs in America. It's the same. And the United States government, Department of Justice, the Comprehensive Anti-Gang Initiative, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, community-oriented policing services, the Project Safe Neighborhoods, and also with the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, an overview of research and program. You read that information, and you'll be informed. We know that the United States government has laws in the United States Attorney, the Criminal Street Gang Statute 1457, United States Code 521, as in the United States Attorney. We know that the federal government, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, prevent gang membership, the Injury Prevention and Control, the Division of Violence Prevention, that's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, the Office of Justice Programs, the National Institute of Justice, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, changing course, preventing youth from joining gangs. Then you have the Anti-Gang Strategies, that's the National Institute of Justice, prevention, intervention, assessment, and suppression. We have the National Gang Intelligence Center and the department, which is the Department of Justice, including the Department of Justice. We know that's the FBI, the National Gang Intelligence, that's the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and which is the Department of Justice, the Organized Crime and Gang Section. Now, there are other federal, state, and local agencies that address organized crime and gangs. The National Gang Center, the compilation of state laws against gangs. We also understand the importance of knowing the definitions of these words that organized crime and gang use, the etymology of words such as gang, gangster, mob, mobster, thug, goon, hooligan, ruffian, and other words that organized crime and gangs use. We also know that there's a nonprofit organization, the National Crime Prevention Council, in conjunction with the Bureau of Justice Assistance, keeping kids out of gangs, and also we always include hazing, because we know that the sororities and the fraternities, they teach all this beating each other up to be a member of the sorority and the fraternity. And also the sorority and fraternity, they also teach the gang, street gang, drug gang, organized crime, they teach to haze each other. Little girls, little boys, they teach them to haze each other. And so when we talk about anti-gang, anti-hazing, when we talk about anti-gang, anti-hazing, that's what we're referring to is the connection that sorority and fraternity had to the organized crime and the gang. So right now we're gonna go to these books and now we was working on the history of street gangs in America and gangs in the United States. Now we know in the bulletin that we've been reading history of street gangs in America. That in the introduction, you know, we trying to not be in no hurry, not be in no rush. You know, we were reading the introduction, and in the introduction, there are books being referred to. Now, the first book is that we're gonna refer, which is an ebook on Google. It's meaning it's free. That book has 2 volumes. I want to make sure we inform everybody. There are 2 volumes. 2 volumes of the book is titled "A History of Crime in England," illustrating the changes of the laws and the progress of civilization. Now, volume one is from the Roman invasion to the accession of Henry VII. And chapter 1 begins. That's chapter 1 right there. Chapter 1 is the introductory. From the Roman invasion to the Norman conquest. So that's volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 2 is from the accession of Henry VII to the year 1874. In chapter 6, that's what we were talking about last week, that first page. From the accession of Henry VII to the death of Elizabeth. So that's volume 2. So we know, so we were talking about the first page, and I know everybody, we're trying to slow everybody, you know, encourage everybody to slow down and, uh, and absorb the information. And we know on the first page of volume one, first page, and then it starts with what is crime? Whence come the criminals? So we know that crime is a serious, you know, offense in society, and what constitutes crime, you know, it all depends on who you ask, and you know, because crime could be a variety of offenses, and so on that first page of volume 1, so that's where it starts out like what is crime. And I'm not trying to dug out, but what I'm saying, that's a broad, when you say what is crime, that's a broad topic. And you know, it'll be so many things you can include as a crime. And so, that's volume 1. Now the first page on volume 2, that was another page we want to start, is volume 2. And it talks about when Henry Tudor succeeded Richard III and married Elizabeth of York, England and Wales had, for the first time, a prospect of becoming a firmly united kingdom. Well, when you do a little historical research, you know that the Tudors and the Stuarts, and that's what a lot of the English history tells you. Tells you about. Excuse me, it tells you about the Tudors and the Stuarts. And one of the one of the interesting topics, or subjects, was the rivalry between York and Lancaster, and that was a serious rivalry. So basically, everyone we're on page one of both volume one and volume two of A History of Crime in England, illustrating the changes of the laws and the progress of civilization. Now let's go over here to hooligan, a history of respectable figures. Now, when you do research, you get information, and we found out that the hooligans was a gang, Irish gang. That's what the hooliganism, that what writers start referring to. Some of the crimes that were committed, they were committed by hooligans, and there were so many crimes committed by hooliganism. And so on the first page, scroll down. When you go to the first page, it said preface English Rose or British Bulldog, and uh, there was some interesting subject that was brought up about English and British. Well, understand the Britons uh, came to the isle, because Great Britain is an island, and we know that the Britons, they came to England, and the Britons, they settled and got everything established for themselves. The Britons did this. So this is the reason why you say Britain and Great Britain, because the people who came, they were Britons. They weren't English. They didn't say they were English. They said they were Britons. That's who came. That's who settled on the isle, which is called Great Britain or United Kingdom. So we know that British and Britain is referring to a person who is well learned, and we know that Britons, when the Romans uh, came to France, came to the United Kingdom, and see that's another thing, that how the French they'll say words, and then you'll say Great Britain. See, this is how they know that the people uh, came to the United Kingdom. It was the Britons. It was the Britons. It was the Britons. So when you do research and when you find out who the people are, that's what they're gonna it's gonna tell you in the research. It was the Britons, and they say they were English. Even though you see England, you see Scotland, you see Wales, you see Ireland and Northern Ireland. And in the book title, so we just got to talk about hooligan and history of respectful fears, and the author of that book, Jeffrey Pearson. And we know that this other book that we talking about, Low Life, Lures and Snares of Old New York, and that there are a lot of people that want to talk about this book, and and the author of the book is let's spell his first name Luc, last name Sante, Sante. Now this book has pictures in it, and like we was discussing on my previous video, is that this book has some pictures in it. And what I ask everybody to do that's listening, there's a picture. Let's see what page it's on. So on page 36 is a picture. And it's a picture of old New York on the left, and City going into his clothes. Wait a minute. The old New York on the right. The old New York on the right. And the new on the left. And as you can see by the buildings, it's a long street. It's a long street. And so, yeah. And so you start seeing on the new New York style of building more of a high rise. So that's basically how we when you see the picture, you interpret the picture. And then on page 1, so so again the title of the book is Low Life, Lures and Snares of Old New York. So right now, take the last minutes of the video, and we're gonna come back to we're gonna continue to work on these books, and because it's very important. And so right now, we're gonna go to read African traditional religion. And we're gonna continue to talk about these books. And we'll come back in my next video. In my next video, we're gonna talk about these books. We're gonna get to our reading on African traditional religion. And we're gonna read a book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasada Abralelu and Dr. P. Adalumo Dupemu. And we read from chapter 7, God and the Society. And then we're going to be reading from Secret Society. The Egungun. Egungun is an ancestral cult showing the beliefs of the Yoruba in life after death. And Egungun is believed to be the spirit of a deceased person who has returned from heaven to earth to visit his people. Hence, he is called Ereoun, a citizen of heaven. The Egungun society consists of marked figures who represent the dead. The trees of an Egungun gives people the impression that he is from the spirit world. He is rotted from head to foot. In a variety of dressing, and he sees only through a neck cover. The face. It is absolutely essential that the whole body is concealed. Let's see, neck cover is concealed. Okay. In the past, those who broke the rule were put to death. Women are not allowed to know the secret of Egungun. There is usually a woman, a strong personality called Aye Egun, who is let into the secret of the cup. Women are not allowed to know the secret of Egungun, but there is usually one with a strong personality called Aye Egun, who is left into the secret of the cup. I'm going to stop right there. And we just got through reading from 7:6, some West African secret societies. And we just read from 7, God and the Society. And we just read a book titled West African Traditional Religion, written by Dr. Joseph Omasede Malelu, Dr. P. Adalumo Dupemu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. And we're reading from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. And we're reading from number 5, the practice of magic and medicine. The difference between religion and magic may be found in their individual attitudes and techniques. As we have observed, the approach of man in religion is one of submission and appeal. There is always a prevailing sense of an infinitely higher power to whom man is subject, and under whose domination and control are all the affairs of life. The religious man proceeds therefore from the premise that the affairs of this world are not in his own hands, and that the ultimate issues of rituals do not depend on what he does or says. Worshipper says, Amen. To prayers, he is saying by implication, I leave my life and the affairs in your hand, and the hand that controls all destiny. Let's start right there. We just read number 5, the practice of magic and medicine. And we read from chapter 5, the structure of African traditional religion. And we just read from the book titled African Traditional Religion, a Definition, written by Dr. E. Baloja Adowu. We're going to continue our reading from the book titled African Religion and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. And we read from number 6, God and Nature. And we read from C, God, Natural Objects and Phenomena. Earthquakes occur fairly frequently in and around the region of the Great Rift Valley in eastern central Africa. The Shone think that earthquakes are caused by God falling to them. Walking in the Basoge, Kiga, and Kori believe that there are earthquake divinities responsible for causing the earth to tremble. Let's stop right there. And just read from C, God, natural objects and phenomena. And we read from 6, God in nature. And we read from the book titled African Tradition, African Religions and Philosophy, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. We're going to continue our read from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. Beatty. And we read from part 4, God and Man. And we read from number 17, worship, prayers, and other appeals to God. And we read from prayers. The gander prayed to the divinity of the sea, lakes, to protect sailors from all evil, to control the crocodiles, and to hold up storms. It is believed among the Kikuyu that during prosperity there is no need to pray to God and do and, and to do so will bother God for which reason he might punish the people concerned. So they pray only in times of great need and when they make sacrifices and offerings. These include times of epidemics, drought, birth, initiation, marriage, and death. The people believe that God hears and enslaves prayer. Individuals do not pray alone because it is held that God is brain. Individuals do not pray alone because it is held that God is interested in the affairs of the community, clan, or nation. The mule head of the family may have pay on behalf of the family. One such prayer says, "Oh God, my Father, give my goats, give my sheep, give me children, that I may be, that I may, that I may be rich. Oh God, my Father." We're gonna stop right there. And we just read from prayers. And we read number 17, worship, prayers, and other appeals to God. We see, and we just read for part 4, God and man. And we just read from the book titled Concepts of God in Africa, written by Dr. John S. M. B. For the end of today's video, we're going to come back to the 3 books that we referred to in the introduction of a history of street gangs in the United States, and also gangs in the United States. And one of the books that we referred to, A History of Crime in England, illustrating the change of the laws in the progress of civilization. That's volume 1. Now, that's volume 1. Now it says, how you know it's volume 1? You read from the Roman invasion to the accession of Henry VII. Now, chapter 1 in the book, introductory, from the Roman invasion to the Norman conquest. Now, volume number 2, A History of Crime in England, illustrating the changes of the laws and the progress of civilization. Volume 2, from the accession of Henry VII to the year 1874. Chapter 6, from the accession of Henry VII to the death of Elizabeth. And the other books we read, and also the author of the book we just got to read, is Luke Owen Pike, volumes 1 and volume 2. The next book we read is Hooligan, A History of Respectable Fear. Jeffrey Pierce, and spelled Jeffrey, Geoffrey. Now the last book that we're working on in the introduction is Low Light, Lures and Snares of Old New York. Old New York. And the author of the book titled Low Light, Lures and Snares of Old New York. And the author is spelled Luke, L-U-C, Sante, S-A-N-T-E. And so, we're going to get ready to end today's video. And like I said, we're going to come back to those 3 books. We're going to read, and we're going to research when we read. And again, my name is Eric D. Johnson. I'm from BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriffs in the state of Tennessee. I'm continuing to work on my entertainment and music interests. And you take care of yourself, until my next video. Oh, we know Christmas is coming up, and New Year's. It's gonna be on a Sunday. I'm considering doing my video on Friday. Christmas Eve, early, like 12 o'clock on Christmas Eve. And then Friday and Saturday, Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, which is Sunday, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but it's I'm talking about Sunday morning, Christmas Sunday morning. But then that Sunday night, most likely I will do my video, and so my schedule gonna be the same because Christmas and New Year's both fall on a Sunday. So same schedule I'm gonna use on Christmas. I'm gonna use the same schedule on New Year, and which is make my video that Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday morning, Christmas, make my video that Sunday night, that Sunday, Monday night. So until my next video, take care of yourself. I wish each and every one of you the very best.